I think about this video from Virgil Abloh probably once or twice a week. I hope you find it as profound as I did. I'm going to stitch to it right now, and then I'll follow up afterwards with some thoughts.
If I put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art. If I put it on like in a garage, it looks like a piece of trash. You know, like someone would throw it away. It's dented. And I think I often use this analogy in design. I could either design the candle and spend a lot of time like telling you about the candle, or I could just design the room that it sits in.
I think it's so poignant and has so many applications and like practical use or consideration, especially for marketers. Thinking about context, the context of your product in the various environments it's in, the context of your ads, whether in the physical world or digital. Virgil was clearly a brilliant person and designer. I proudly own one pair of off-white shoes. I did not follow him too closely when he was alive, but as I've come across more of his stuff on TikTok and other feeds, I continuously kind of like mind blown thinking about, you know, some of what he describes, especially this video. I will not attempt to mansplain much of what I think was his intention. I think Virgil makes his point incredibly eloquently and thoughtfully, but, you know, thinking about that example of like putting something on the, you know, perfect white pedestal in a big open room, whether it's the crushed candle that he has or any product of any kind, or high-low in fashion. You know, I came across the Domino's Rolex that, you know, Domino's salesmen could get if they sold a certain amount of Domino's in a given week, like a Rolex with the Domino's logo, what that means versus your typical Domino's logo on a pizza box. And like the high-low interplay, this gets into brand collapse, borrowing equity from influencers, creators, many, few, staying focused or spreading yourself too thin. I won't attempt to like give crazy prescriptive guidance on how to use this concept of his around like designing around the product versus the product. Obviously it's a mix of both, of course. And I think that, you know, once you have the product in a place you feel great about, then the context, the designing around it gets, you know, even more interesting. Photographers, I'm sure, understand this notion better than pretty much anyone as far as blank space, negative space, designing around the focal point, you know, object, person, you know, whatever is the kind of core aspect of the shot, but it's one small part of the equation, if not taken in the context and designed around in various ways, close up, zoomed out, cluttered, not. I especially like putting seemingly unrelated things together. And again, whether this is in ads or in some sort of like mood board type aesthetic, or, you know, thinking about your blog content, materials, whatever it may be, seemingly disparate things together that are related and you believe have a link to your product vibe-wise, in culture. I love Easter eggs. I think having some of those subtle inclusions can be really interesting, and I don't know, it just resonates with me, this little snippet from him in so many ways. I truly do think about it all the time. I hope you guys found it valuable and can apply it in your own ways, personally or professionally. Now back to your regularly scheduled paid media programming.